Hey, wake up. It's a Monday morning. Time to get your week started for Raid Shadow Legends. And right on cue, just like I've been telling you guys, we know this week what the next Fusion champion is because we usually only get about 10 to 15 days of downtime in between fusions before we're at least being teased about what the new one is going to be. So I've got it pulled up on screen, but I have not read this kit yet. I'm going to give you my authentic first reaction to how I would rate this guy based on what we know. We don't know the base speed, the base stats, and stuff like that. I've been asking for that for years, but based off of what I can see, I will give you my first impressions of this guy as best I can, and we'll get you caught up on everything going on in Raid currently. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so let's just go ahead and jump into the important stuff, which is obviously the new champion. Now, this is going to be a Shadowkin champion, obviously, as you can see on the infographic. That is the legendary attack, damage dealing type champion, Spirit Affinity. And Plarium's own words on describing this guy when they revealed him to us behind the scenes is, Karato Fox Hunter is a great damage dealer with an emphasis on control skills. Their A2 allows placing a stun debuff on a single target for 2 turns, while the A3 keeps the enemies from using active skills. Another useful feature is their passive skill that prevents the damage inflicted by Karato from being decreased by enemy passive skills or masteries. Keep in mind that it also prevents the damage from being increased by ally passive skills or masteries. Having a synergy with yet another champion, Yumiko, grants Karato an extra turn on A2 and eliminates the need for accuracy on the A3. Also, it helps boost Yumiko's skills in return. Karato Fox Hunter will be of great use in the arena, especially when paired with Yumiko. Alrighty, so that is going to be Plarium's take on this champion, and that means we're obviously getting a new champion that's going to be pairing with Karato, but we don't have that in game yet, and they have not told us their kit. We've seen them like in teaser videos and stuff, but it's just artwork. I don't have any information beyond that, like in terms of how they're going to function or how they're going to synergize and stuff based on what that other champion brings to the table quite yet, but as soon as I will, you know that I will let you know. So now let's go ahead and let's read this. Okay, so the A1 is attack one enemy 3 times. I like triple hitter A1s. Each hit has a 20% chance of placing a weaken for 2 turns. You could probably book that up to like 35-40. Okay, that's not bad. Weaken is a little bit less common than defense break, it seems. So having a triple hit A1 that places weaken is nice. Okay. Attack 1 enemy. So this next one's gonna be a 4-turn cooldown. I'm sure you can book it to a 3-turn, especially with it being attack 1 enemy. Attack 1 enemy, place a stun debuff for 2 turns and grant an extra turn and reset the cooldown of the skill if Yumiko's on the same team and it gets a kill. So similar to like a Rotos where you run in and get a kill and grant an extra turn. Maybe a hard hitting ability that can really snowball and grant an extra turn if you're kind of getting kills there. And if you don't get a kill, it's going to stun something for 2 turns. Then on the A3, we've got a 4-turn cooldown, which again, you could probably book to a 3. Attack all enemies with an 80% chance. I'm sure you can book that up to 100 of placing a block active skills for 2 turns. And it cannot be resisted if Yumiko's on the same team. That's pretty strong. Block active skills that can't be resisted. Yeah, that's pretty strong. I mean, you've got like you know, Warlord increasing cooldown on skills and stuff. Now block active skills is a little bit worse than Warlord because Warlord is gonna ignore the immunity set. Like it doesn't matter if you're wearing immunity because it's not a debuff or whatever. It's just poof, your cooldowns are increased. So yeah, but so if they're in like an immunity set or whatever, it's not gonna matter if you won't be able to get through that without removing it or something. So it's a solid skill for sure. Then we've also got a pretty wordy passive. It's going to be damage inflicted by this champion cannot be decreased. Damage inflicted by this champion cannot be decreased by enemy passive skills or masteries. Okay, interesting. I know that's a new mechanic to the game. Except the passive skills of bosses, obviously. Damage inflicted by this champion cannot be increased by ally passive skills or masteries either. Okay, yeah, we've definitely never seen a champion function like that. Whenever Yumiko dies, which is not going to be this champion, but the champion that Karato pairs with, instantly give a turn to this champion and reset the cooldown of all champion skills. Okay. So when the tandem is going to die, just boom, Karato's gonna go right away and either lock people out or run in and snipe somebody, stun them, and take an extra turn. So I guess the safe route to go, if you've got the tandem together, would be to have him do the A2 first if you know you're going to get a kill. Like they've got somebody squishy on the team that you know you're going to take down. You go in with the A2, and then that's going to grant an extra turn if you've got his tandem on the team. And then boom, you can also lock everybody out. So yeah, I mean, that has potential to be a pretty decently strong combo in the right scenario if you actually have both of them. We also get an aura of increased ally crit rate in all battles by 20%, which is it's all right. It's just crit rate's not one of those like speed, defense, HP, resistance type of arena aura that you would typically be going for, because you're going to have to build in with 100% crit rate anyway. And any other damage dealer, unless it's very niche, you're typically going to build them to be crit capped. So that's why crit rate auras after the super early game tend to be one of the least desired ones. So all right, what do I think here? It's so tough on attack champions because you have to know their multipliers. I mean, does this guy hit like Trunda, or does he hit like a wet noodle? That's gonna wildly swing his rating because he is a damage dealer. He's not a support where you can kind of see like, okay, this champion has a lot of utility, some ally protection, some speed up. You can read Sify's kit and be like, okay, yeah, this champion's gonna be insane. You don't need to know Sify's multipliers and stuff. But for a damage dealer, I have to know their multipliers. But like, let's just assume the multipliers are good. Maybe not Trunda, but let's assume the multipliers are comparable to like Rotos or something, like a good damage dealer. Then yeah, I mean, he's pretty solid. I'd give him like a B+, because you're getting the triple hitter weekend. It's going to be awesome for the Fire Knight. You're getting an ability to snowball if you've got the tandem champion paired in there, but even if you don't, you're getting a stun, and you may even be, it's a single target, you may be able to book that to 2 turns. Sometimes they'll allow things like that to book the 2 turns. I doubt it in the case of his A2 because it's already got an ability baked into Snowball. So I bet it stops at 3 turns if I had to guess. And then you also have AoE. And if that hits hard, it's going to be an AoE that does damage pretty well and blocks everybody out for 2 turns. That's pretty solid. And that passive is kind of weird in terms of how it works with masteries and all of that stuff. But remember, it only says damage inflicted by this champion cannot be increased by ally passives or masteries. So, you know, his masteries like Helm Smasher and stuff should still apply. But passives is a big deal. Cannot be increased by ally passives. That's definitely going to be something you're going to have to pay attention to when you're building this champion to be part of a composition. So yeah, that is the new champion. And like I said, if I had to go with a rating, it'd be like B+. We got some redeeming qualities in the kit here, and could either drop to like a C+, or go up to like an A- based on when we see the base stats and the multipliers and stuff like that. So I will definitely stay tuned, and hopefully we get an opportunity to test this guy. But now let's go over what's happening in Raid. Okay, so we just had 2x Ancients. We had one of the biggest summoning weekends I've ever seen in Raid. We had a 2x, and also a really good 10x in Prince Kaimar coinciding with that 2x. So I bet this week we're going to get some sort of guaranteed summoning event, pull this many shards for a certain champion, or some sort of generic 10x with 8 different champions in it. So that's probably what's going to be happening this week. And then the next 2x is going to be about 10 or 11 days from now. We will be getting 2x Sacreds as long as they go by their normal rotation, because it's easy to remember the rotation. It goes in alphabetical order in terms of the 2x's. So it's going to go Ancients, and then Sacreds, and then Voids. So since we just had Ancients, the next one will be Sacreds in about 10 or 11 days or so. And there will not be a CVC clan versus clan tournament this week. That we would already be seeing the teaser in game, because the matches typically take place on Tuesday, and it will give you the indicator up there on the top right next to the tournaments button on Monday. So it's going to be a day off on the CVC front. Just make sure you're getting your Tag Team Arena rank in order for next week, because Tag Team Arena can be a really good source of points. And other than that, just kind of plan your books and stuff according around CVC starting in about 8 days. Then as we dive into the tournaments tab, I want to go over the Whale Watch, because I expect it to be pretty insane for the Dragon tournament. I actually was lucky enough to win my tournament group barely. You can see there at about 11,900, won by a few hundred there over number 2. I ended up spending like 10,000 energy the last day, and was planning on kind of charting if it was worth it or not, like how many decent speed pieces I get out of that 10,000 energy. I thought that would be a good little test. But anyway, in the global leaderboard, I mean, actually, I went a little bit too hard in the paint here on my let's just move this up here. And there we go. Okay, so we've got the whales here at 80. So my guess was they're going to get to about 100,000 to win this, because it was going to be an insane event, obviously, with doing the increase of speed. So how much did our winner here spend? So we've got 84,233 points. Boom. They did about 4,680 runs, spent about 86,000 energy, and then based on the offers we see in game and how I typically calculate things based on my offer sheet calculator, there is the money, almost $800 worth of energy, and approaching 1,000 speed drops is going to be some of the estimates for the number of the global leader. Those are probably going to be off a tad. Those are like especially the speed drops and the money are going to be obviously estimates, just kind of guessing as best I can. But yeah, definitely interesting numbers based on the global leader. If you were curious on tracking how insane the global leaderboard for the Dragon event got this weekend. Then for the other tournaments going on right now, the most notable thing is going to be the Fire Night tournament, because this is actually going to be coinciding with a boosted up Savage set event, similar to the speed set for the Dragon that we just finished. And you can see that right there under the game modes tab, the drop fever for the Savage set. So go ahead and grind up that Fire Night as well if you've got the energy to do so, because both Savage and Speed are definitely top 10 sets, probably approaching both of them being top 5. So it's very, very worth it for these last few days to go ahead and grind energy in the Dragon and the Fire Night respectively. Now the tournament itself for the Fire Night is pretty par for the course, nothing really to go over. You do get an epic book, and all this is pretty standard. And then we got a champion training going on right now as well. You're going to want to be a little bit careful, because we do have a fusion coming up next week, probably. If I had to guess, it starts in the next week or two. So be prepared to get a bunch of level 30, level 40 champions, so you can really go crazy and start getting some of the fragments or some of the rare champions or whatever you need as an incentive to keep you going to finish the fusion. You're going to want to start kind of preparing for that. And then under the events tab, we've got a fusion warm-up, which is always good to scoop this stuff up. You're going to get this by upgrading artifacts in your account. You can just upgrade stuff to like level 12 and you're fine, because you can see here that it only allows you to get a maximum of 15 points a day, and you can do that 4 times because this thing maxes out at 60. So what you're going to do once a day is just upgrade something to level 12. If you upgrade a 5 or 6 star item to level 12, or even I mean all of them, actually. Are they all? Yeah, all of them. You get 15 points just by upgrading anything to level 12. So yeah, upgrade one thing a day to level 12 during the fusion warm-up event. Doesn't matter if it's 1 star or 6 star. Boom, there's your 15 points for the day. And you can scoop up some of these quick and easy rewards as we kind of head into the fusion, starting probably next week. And we've got a Dungeon Divers that coincides a little bit with everything that's going on in terms of the craziness. You can see here that I have not quite maxed this out yet, but I probably will while going crazy the next day and a half or so for the Fire Night. But just something to keep an eye on. That's one of the crazier, more robust Dungeon Divers events we've seen, and it's also got the new stuff like the Chaos Ore, the Barrel going on to kind of double dip with the Dragon tournament and craziness that was happening this weekend. And now for the things going on in the shop. Let's go ahead and plug this in. We've got the 10 there, and we're going to go with some of the silver of 300k, energy of 600, gems of 300, and energy refills of 4. All right, so a 1.77, but energy is worth a little bit more now because there is something live in the Savage set, but it's still not that great. For high spenders, it's decent, but it's nothing amazing. Then for this one here, we're gonna go with the 40. Let's back all of this out. Okay, and then for the silver, we're gonna go 1.5 million. Now this one has a purchase limit of 3, so it's probably not that great. We've got 100 brews. And then we're going to go 500 gems. And it's going to be 6 of the 5-star chicken, and boom. Yeah, 1.36. That one's definitely way worse. I would definitely do the special progress pack over that. The mini mix grades out as about a 2.5. The great deal mix pack. So this is going to be like a more champion training themed one. Let's go ahead, pop this down. And 250k silver. And then we're going to go 8 and 5 on the chicken respectively. Boom. 1.54. Again, not that great. And faction accessories, we don't even need to plug that in. $20 for 3 5-star pieces is not going to cut it. So the best thing by far is going to be, besides the monthly pack, is going to be the special progress pack here, which is about a 1.8, 1.9. Coinciding with the Savage set grinding. But unfortunately, nothing super amazing. Then just some quick notes before I let you go that you're going to want to know. Today, your clan quests are going to reset. So focus on that today and spend your stuff in the clan shop before we get a new rotation of that. And speaking of new rotation, it's that time of the week where you got to get your homework, turned it in, and on the teacher's desk by morning, because we have got the Hydra with only a day and a half left on it for you to get those 3 keys in. So starting those battles today. You don't want to be rushing tomorrow and doing the Hydra for an hour and a half. Start on it today. Make sure you've got your keys spent and you are getting your quest done for CVC, and then obviously your gold, your gold rank or whatever rank you are in arena. It may have changed overnight based on the reset, so start getting that in order for the week and ranking up in tag team arena in honor of CVC starting here in about 8 days. So time for me to head on over to stream. If you would like to stop by and say hi, you know the drill. Link down below if you want. If not, that's cool. Thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.